All right, so here got the notes for polynomial division, synthetic version instead of long. So synthetic division can be used when you're dividing a polynomial by a binomial that has the form x plus or minus a. So x can't have a coefficient, can't have an exponent, and a is a number, 2, 7, -8, things like that. So here are our general steps. We're going to place the value of the opposite of a. So if this is x plus 2, we're going to place -2. I'm in a box in the upper left. This value is the value that makes the binomial equal to 0. So if I have x plus 2, the value that makes that 0 is -2. Next to that box, we're going to write the coefficients of the dividend. That's the thing you're dividing into. You must fill in any missing terms with 0. That's important. So if you're missing a value, you have to make sure to put a 0 there so you have every term represented, even if it does not appear in the original. Leave yourself a little bit of room to work with, and then drop the first quotient down below, multiply the value in the bottom row by the value of the box, and write this under the next coefficient in the space you've left for work. Add down, multiply again underneath the next coefficient, add down, repeat until you reach the last column. The values along the bottom row are the coefficients of your quotient, and the quotient has one less degree than dividend. The last value's remainder is written as the numerator of a fraction with the divisor as the denominator. So it's a lot of words, it's a lot easier to see in action. So, number one. So what I'm going to do is the first thing I need to do is find what value makes that equal to 0, or what's the opposite here. So -3 is the number that goes in the box. Next to that, I write just the coefficients, filling in any missing terms. So 2x to the fourth, so the next term has to be the x cubes, then the x squareds, then the regular x's, and then the numbers. Leave yourself some room to work. I like to draw a line and put a plus sign here because we're going to be adding, and then the first coefficient comes all the way down. Now we just repeatedly multiply and add. So number in the box times number in the bottom, that'd be -6. Add down would be 7. Number in the box times number on the bottom, -21. Add down would be -7. Number in the box times number on the bottom would be +21. Add down would be -9. Number in the box times number on the bottom would be +27. Add down is 0. So this value here, the last one is the remainder if you have one. These numbers are the coefficients of your answer. And they always start with one less power than I originally began with. So I began with an x to the fourth. So my answer is going to start at x cubed. And then every term just counts down the exponent by 1. So that would be the quotient. No fractional term because there is no remainder. All right, so let's look at number 2. All right, so number in the box is going to be -5, opposite of that number. Numbers next to it, so 1x cubed, 6x squared, -1x, and -30. Give yourself some room, plus. Just as a quick check, your coefficient row, not counting the number in the box, should have one more number than your highest exponent. Since my highest exponent is 3, I have to have 4 numbers here. So first number comes down, multiply and add. So -5 times 1 is -5, add down is 1. -5 times 1 is -5, add down is -6. -5 times -6 is +30, add down is 0. So once again, that number is my remainder. These are the coefficients of my answer. So 1x squared plus 1x minus 6. Now, in the case of one coefficients, you don't have to show them, so x squared plus x minus 6 would also be fine. All right, so for number 3, the number in the box is going to be -7. Coefficients 2x to the fourth, 17x cubed, 19x squared, -16x, -17. So x to the fourth means I should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms. Leave yourself some room, drop the first coefficient. So multiply is going to be -14 and add is 3. Multiply is -21 and add is -2. Multiply is +14, add is -2 again. +14, add is -3. So in this case, I do have a remainder. So when I write my answer, it's going to be 2x cubed. So I start with x to the fourth. My answer is always 1 power less. Plus 3x squared minus 2x minus 2. And then to do my remainder, I add one more term. The remainder goes on top of the fraction, and the thing I'm dividing by, the divisor, goes on the bottom. Now, sometimes you'll see the -3 written out front here in front of the fraction. That's fine. So what that would look like would be 2x cubed plus 3x squared minus 2x minus 2 minus 3 over x plus 7, and that's also fine. All right, so for 4, negative 2 goes in the box. Coefficients are 2, negative 6, negative 23, negative 5, and positive 5. So x to the 4th, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 terms. Leave yourself some room. So negative 2 times 2 is negative 4, add down. Negative 2 times negative 10 is 20, add down. Negative 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. No, it's not, it's positive 6. Add down is 1. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Add down is 3. So once again, I have a remainder. So 2x cubed minus 10x squared minus 3x plus 1 plus fraction, remainder on top, divisor on the bottom. All right, so for 5, 3 goes in the box. So 1x to the 4th. Now, if you notice, the next one should be x cubes, but there are no x cubes, which means I have to put a 0 in to hold the place. 1x to the 4th, no x cubes, x squared, regular x number. Highest power is x to the 4th, so there has to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers in my coefficient row. Okay, so leave yourself some room, drop the 1, 3 times 1 is 3, add down is 3. 3 times 3 is 9, add down is 3. 3 times 3 is 9, add down is 8. 3 times 8 is 24, add down is 5. So there's my remainder. So 1x cubed plus 3x squared plus 3x plus 8. And then my remainder, 5 over the divisor, x minus 3. All right, last one. So negative 1 goes in the box. Coefficients, we have 1x to the 4th, negative 9x cubed, negative 16x squared, negative 5x. And in this case, I'm missing the last term, so I have to put the 0. There has to be 5 numbers in this row. So since I'm missing the number term, like the 19 was here, I have to put the 0 there. So drop the 1. Negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. Add down is negative 10. Negative 1 times negative 10 is positive 10. Add down is negative 6. Negative 1 times negative 6 is positive 6. Add down is 1. Negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. Add down is also negative 1. So I have a remainder. So this one would be 1x cubed minus 10x squared minus 6x plus 1 plus the fraction negative 1 over x plus 1. Now, just a note, didn't come up in any of these examples, but it is possible that in your coefficient row here, not counting the remainder, you end up with 0 here as well. That's fine. It just means you leave the term out. Like if this negative 10 had been 0, I'd go 1x cubed, no x squareds, and then I just skip straight to the negative 6x. This term would not appear. But that brings us to the end of the section.